Where I find that this is of the most use, and I'm gonna step really deeply, really quickly, and then I apologize, but there's some very significant thing that is happening, and I want to think the win rate on a deal in enterprise sale is what they approximately call, give or take, 30%, 1 in 3. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what we also know that on average it takes about 12 meetings. What we know mathematically is that in order to get 30% of win rate across 12 meetings, I got to convert on average every meeting at 90% success rate. So if I do 90% times 90% times 90% and do that times 12, I come out at a 30% win rate.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it very hard to make if you think about that, that's the reason why enterprise sales is so successful. The success rate per meeting needs to be so high.
Mm-hmm.
What this tool allows me to, what your service allows me to, is secure that, is help that, is anchor a particular part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next thing, if I have X to the power of Y, right? I got like a conversion rate per meeting to the power of 12 meetings. If I can if I can improve my conversion rate per meeting the slightest, so instead of I have a 90% conversion rate per meeting, I can improve it to 92%. My win rate, because it goes to the power of 12, skyrockets.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mathematics behind science. What we are seeing, larger and larger companies are more benefiting from this. If you have 4 salespeople, the sample rate across 4 and across meetings is not big enough to really start gaining overall impact. If you have 10, 12, 14 salespeople, it starts to become an impact. If you have 50 to 100, and you are leveling the level of quality up, you very easily can make 1 or 2 percentage points improvements per meeting. And this is what we're seeing right now.
Wow. I've never even thought about it in that way, to break down the math of increasing percentage tiny bit meeting over meeting, because then you're getting compounding results, which is that's the gold right there.
The exponential impact goes like this. And that across amount of people. And then when you calculate out, obviously I don't want to have the people who are watching, I don't want you to increase the price of your product. Like, oh my gosh, I should charge more. No, but it's really meaningful there. There's a really meaningful impact that, we are seeing more and more sales leaders get, understand. And that means that sales, there is a part, don't get me wrong. You did this product and you built this because there's a piece inside of you. A passionate piece that wanted to do this. Everything else is like scientific, proven, and so on. Everything else is the perfect, but your gut feel, the passion, what sits deep inside you, that uniqueness, that's what made you build that product. The other 95% are skills that can be taught, trained, learned, and so on. And the same thing in sales. But we believe that that uniqueness, that special art that they're having, that is the lion's share of what they're having. And that's not the case. We see it's they're just like any other specialist and expert. And 5 or 10%, we need to hire on, and the other 80, 90% or whatever that is, we need to train on.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. With that said, I want to thank you very much for being on today's session. I really appreciate it and looking forward to set it. How can people get in touch with you or the product? Anything that we need to know?
Quickest response you can get from me is on my LinkedIn. I'm just living on LinkedIn messages these days. So Drew D'Agostino.
And then your product is under, what is the web route that we can find?
Crystalknows.com.
Crystalknows.com. Okay,
Yeah.
With that said, thank you very much, Drew. Looking forward to connect with you as we talk about and brainstorm about new playbooks.
Yeah, this is an exciting adventure. Thank you, Jacco. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome.